तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham. So we are seeing the fourfold qualifications, and in that we saw Vivek. Vivek was defined as Nitya, Anitya, Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya, Evam Rupo Vinishchaya. The determination, the firm determination that Brahman alone is the absolute truth, is real, and the world is an illusion. Now, born out of this firm conviction is the next quality called Vairagya. If Vivek does not lead to Vairagya, then Vivek has not been done properly. That Vivek is barren. The product of Vivek is Vairagya. When I discriminate clearly between the permanent and temporary, real and unreal, the intense desire to know the real will require us to withdraw from that which is actually unreal. But because I am seeing it, it is an illusion. Knowing something as an illusion and still if I run behind it, that means I have not discriminated properly. Nobody will run behind the mirage once they know it as a mirage. If one is still running behind it, it is some delusion. So the Vivek has not been done properly. So now if Vivek has been done properly, Vairagya will happen. So what was Vairagya defined as? Dehadi Brahma Paryante Anitye Bhoga Vastuni. Beginning from the body till the subtlest pleasure of Brahmalok or Hiranyagarbha. No craving for that. Tadvairagyam jihasaya. What is where there is no desire, no craving for this pleasures of the body, ranging from the body till the subtlest Brahmalok. So here Vivek gives rise to that Vairagya. So Vairagya, the word, yesterday we were trying to understand what is the nature of this, true nature of Vairagya. It is not disinterestedness, it is not disillusionment. Then what is this? So Vairagya is literally translated as dispassion. Dispassion is not opposite of raaga or attachment or passion. It's not Vairagya means opposite of raaga, not like that. Dispassion means no attachment, no aversion. No raaga and no dvesha. That state where the mind is not affected by raaga and dvesha. That state is called Vairagya. If I have attachment towards something, the mind is occupied thinking about that. How to enjoy that. What kind of pleasure I will derive out of that. If I have aversion towards someone, then I keep thinking about them, keep agitating myself, keep visualizing that next time when I meet, this is what I'm going to do. So both these raaga and dvesha, they occupy the mind. The thoughts are occupied by raaga and dvesha. They are not available for thinking of the truth. So to understand this, to free the mind from this raga and dvesha, and hence as a result of that, there is no craving for sense pleasures, which means also there is no aversion towards any other situation or a pleasure or a person in life. One accepts life as it comes. So this state of mind, where absence of craving is there, is a free state of mind. That mind will have enough energy, enough consistency, enough focus to achieve its goal. And all of us have experienced this state of Vairagya. May not be in the intensity at which Vedanta wants us. Some may even have experienced that. But generally we find that when we want to achieve a goal, suppose a student has to write an exam, last few days just before the exam, the student will have enough Vairagya to say that, TV is out, internet browsing is out, chatting is out, I have to just study. So that single pointedness comes where the mind has withdrawn. Example may have limitations, but just trying to understand that state of mind. So when the person is free from raga and dvesha, mind is not brooding over pleasure or over agitation, that healthy state of the non-dependency, non-craving, non-entertainment of thoughts, that healthy state is called as Vairagya. So it is translated as dispassion, where no more passion affects that person. Raga and dvesha, both are indicated. Now, dispassion and detachment. So the word for Vairagya is dispassion. The word for detachment is anasakti. Generally, we use these interchangeably. Dispassion, detachment. There's a little bit of a difference in this. So when I have dispassion towards something, I am not interested in it anymore. I withdraw from that. So that state of withdrawal, the state where I no more crave for it, no more depend on it, no more want it. If it is there, I may just enjoy it and just forget it. That state where I am away from that. So when Vairagya happens, real Vairagya, intense Vairagya, when it happens, sometimes people leave the home, leave the family, retire into solitude because they want exclusive time to contemplate, to meditate, no other duties, responsibilities. So one will literally drop it because one is no more interested, there is no craving left. But detachment is while being in it, not being affected by it. One has not left it for whatever reasons. Not that one wants to crave or indulge, but maybe there are some duties to finish, responsibilities to do. So then while being in it, to be detached, where one does not get affected by it. The example given for that is the lotus leaf. So the lotus leaf is born in water, stays in water, goes back to water. But the lotus leaf will never become wet. So though being in water, it is not affected by water. So Gurudev is to say, be in the world, not of the world. So that state where I am amidst the responsibilities, amidst the work, amidst people, amidst enjoyments, and yet not being affected. So examples are people like King Janak, King Ambarish. These are great kings who have ruled kingdoms, who have not left and gone, and who have the same dispassion in their heart, but they are, for certain reasons, they are still there doing their duties. But they do it with complete detachment, no craving. So the state of mind inside is the same. Dispassion inside is the same. Externally, one has withdrawn. That is by dispassion. Externally, Vairagya has led to tyaga, renunciation. And externally, one has not renounced. One is still there, but there is no craving inside, so the person doesn't get affected. So this Vairagya is a very healthy state. And when Vivek becomes firm, that's why the word Vinishchaya was used. Vivek plus Nishtha is equal to Vairagya. Firm determination. Strong, very, very rooted determination. Rooted discrimination. That is called Vairagya. If the withdrawal, if the renunciation is not based on Vairagya, it will become escapism. So if somebody takes up this path as an escape from the duties, one will come back to that based because of the karma, or one will get frustrated. One will not be able to experience the Supreme because the eligibility is not there. In the 3rd chapter, Bhagwan says that Nakarmana manarambhat naishkarmyam purushoshnute nacha sanyasanadeva siddhim samadhi gacchati. By not starting something new or by escaping from something what I already have to do, nobody attains the supreme state. So when there is Vairagya, there is no craving. One has to ask oneself, is there anything that I still seek from this world? Is there any enjoyment which I have not enjoyed, which I want to enjoy? The mind is craving for it. There may be lots of things we have not enjoyed in this world, but there is no craving also. But if there is a craving, that means there is still some dependency inside, some raaga inside. So Vivek has to become more and more stronger. Vairagya also means to drop something, never to pick it up. So when I understand something very clearly, that this is so temporary, this is ephemeral, and in fact, it is a myth to think that this has happiness. This body is actually a bundle of 5 elements, made up of 5 elements. It is inert. It is only a means to do sadhana. Though senses can enjoy the sense objects, it will only deplete my energy, drain my energy. The more one thinks like that, the more Vairagya one has. So the craving for sense pleasure keeps on reducing. That firm determination is what is called as a Vairagya here. Where that Vairagya is where we drop it, never to pick it up. No more we will ever pick up the teddy bear of the childhood. Because one has risen above that and dropped it once and for all, it's over. But same thing we cannot say for the rest of the things in the world. Our object of attachment has changed, that's all. But when a person becomes completely dispassionate, no interest whatsoever. So this is not disinterest, this is not depression, this is not escapism. This Vairagya is a very healthy state where there is an intensity to know the real and disinterest from the unreal or the illusory. So one single factor which helps me to understand whether it's escapism or depression or disinterestedness is how much is my thirst to know the real. That enthusiasm to know the real. Because if the mind is freed from raaga and dvesha, the mind wants to know the real. So there is a purpose, there is a clarity, there is a focus. In disinterestedness, escapism, none of that is there. One is just not wanting to do something. That's it. One just escapes. So this Vairagya is that healthy state. And this Vairagya, once we understand here, intensity of Vairagya also is very different. So once we go through this definition. Dehadi Brahma Paryante. Vairagya begins from the body onwards. If we are attached to the body and we try to have disinterest for certain pleasures of life, that may be a beginning point, but that's not complete Vairagya. So the more I understand here, that I must overcome this attachment to the body, that the pleasure of the body is my pleasure. That equation in my head is what makes me run, makes the mind, makes the senses crave for sense pleasures. So this detachment to the body is very important. If you see in this commentary of Puja Gurudev, he has given very beautifully one whole paragraph. Quoting Shri Gnaneshwar Maharaj's commentary on the Gita, the third paragraph of verse number 21, where he says here that describing the attitude of a man of detachment towards sense objects, he gives some examples which are very striking and effective. He says that a man of true detachment will run towards the sense objects with as much enthusiasm as one would rush out to embrace a dead queen's rotting body, with as much satisfaction as well as one would decide to quench one's thirst by drinking the pus flowing out from a leper's wound, and with as much readiness as one would enter a boiling cauldron of molten iron to take a refreshing bath. It is a very powerful way of expressing the idea that where the intellect has come to a firm conviction about the hollowness of the sense objects, the mind will not gush forth towards them with hopes and expectations of satisfaction. This sense of detachment that arises from a full application of one's discriminative faculty is called true Vairagya. Now the examples may look very disgusting. Dead queen's rotten body, pus from the leper's wound, molting, cauldron of molten iron. But what is the intensity with which one seeks any of this? There is nothing, no intensity, no seeking of this. That is the mind, which has understood very well that this body is, after all, made up of what? 5 elements which are inert. Just that they are packaged very well. One little cut in the body and it stings. It starts rotting. The food that we eat, no, examples are given to induce Vairagya. Because delusion is very powerful. So one day a man was passing by and suddenly he heard some sound of someone crying very loudly. So he looked around, he didn't find anybody. He went 1 or 2 steps ahead, again he found the sound of someone crying. And he was surprised that from where is this sound coming? There's nobody around. Then he identified that below the lamppost, from there the sound is coming. So he walked towards that. And the more he walked towards that, the louder that sound became. So he said, what is this? He saw that there is a big dustbin there. So he thought maybe somebody is inside this and weeping. So he closed his doors, opened the dustbin. He found that there was nobody inside. All dirt and filth inside. But the sound is coming from there. So then he just said, who is it? And it is said that the sound which was coming from there, it replied back. So this person asked, who is it? Why are you weeping? So the reply came that, I was such a lovely, beautiful, tasty Black Forest chocolate cake. And look at my condition. What has happened now? He said, what happened? He said, I went through the human being's body and look at my condition. I've come out as a dirty waste product. The example is given to understand this aspect, that how this human body produces waste. We may say that yes, human body is a tool, we are doing so much work with that, so much progress in the world and all that. That is no doubt, there's no denial of that. But if I go to see factually, what is this human body? Made up of blood, bone, urine, fecal matter, muscle, is made up of all these. What comes out of 7 holes is only dirt and filth. So what should be inside? A person who thinks in this way will develop detachment towards the body, will develop dispassion towards the body also. Will do only that much that is required to take care of the body, and rest of the time use it to do sadhana, because the life is very short. Anytime the body drops. So to have this kind of an attitude where I just take care of the body enough to maintain it, to do sadhana, and rest of the time think about the Supreme, think about dedication, think about work offered to the Lord, then that Vairagya is very strong and it strengthens Vairagya. So first method of developing Vairagya is intense discrimination between real and unreal. Second aspect, detachment and dispassion from the body. For which I have to do pratipaksha bhavna. What we did just now is called pratipaksha bhavna, where we see the opposite side of something that we are fascinated by. Paksha means one side, pratipaksha means opposite side. So to see the opposite side of sense pleasures, of body, of wealth, of power, of people. Books like Bhajagovindam, Vairagya Shatakam, one has to read those and reflect upon those, so that the inflated value we have given that pleasure is in these things comes down. So second aspect is pratipaksha bhavana. It is worth even memorizing certain verses and reminding oneself again and again. Depending on what is my attachment to which type of pleasure or a person or a situation, one can read these books, develop more and more Vairagya by reflecting upon these. So, firm discrimination through satsang. Second, pratipaksha bhavana, reflection on the verses of Bhajagovindam, Vairagya Shatakam. These verses will strengthen Vairagya. Third aspect, doing one's own duty. Dedicating the duty towards the Lord. When I do my duty sincerely, without expectation of a reward, I do it as a dedication. That dharma will lead to Vairagya. Tulsidas ji says very nicely in Tulsi Ramayana, dharmate virati jogate jnana. That dharma will lead to Vairagya. So if I have lived a life of a grahasthi, I have lived life sincerely doing my duties towards my family, towards the society, towards the Supreme Lord, the rishis, and I have done my duty and I am continuously engaged in that, sincerely doing my duty, dedicating it to the Lord, it has to result in Vairagya. There is no doubt in that. If it is not resulting in Vairagya, that means I am not doing vivek properly, or I am doing the duty with some attachment, some expectation of some more subtler praise or a subtler pleasure derived out of appreciation. But when it is done properly with the sense of dedication, bhakti itself will give rise to Vairagya. Dharma will give rise to Vairagya. Yoga also will give rise to Vairagya. So, if I develop this habit, so now you see how beautiful it is. Vairagya we think is escape from duty, but actually performance of duty is what leads to Vairagya. Escapism from duty will not lead to Vairagya. When we go through it, but go through it with the sense of dedication, then Vairagya will arise. So we have all gone through 10th standard, limited example, but 10th standard, 12th standard, we all have gone through. Graduation, the whole school system we have gone through, college education we have gone through. And having gone through that, there will be some Vairagya or not. That no more we want. Enough, we had enough. We studied well, we got good marks, all that is over, but we have gone through it and then risen above it. Same way when I go through the duties, when I go through my work, responsibilities, do it with a sense of dedication, Vairagya has to come. If it is not coming, it only means that there is some dependency, some raaga somewhere, some dvesha somewhere, and raaga and dvesha when we have, we cannot do our duties properly. So it seems very simple, performance of duty. But the performance of duty with dedication is a very deep thing. It's not simple. It's not simply doing work. It is doing work with dedication without raga and dvesha. So, example, a king like Dhritarashtra, he had raga, he has attachment towards his own son. So, that attachment prevents him from doing his duty as a king. Whenever we have raga and dvesha, we cannot do our duty. We will be partial. We will only create more new karmas. So a person who is steadfast in the performance of duty, Krishna Bhagwan says that in the Gita, the first step of karma yoga is niyatam kuru karmatvam. Do your obligatory duties. Don't escape from them. Vairagya is not escaping from obligatory duties. Now then, what about Siddhartha and so many of these people who were having responsibilities, they left and they renounced everything and went away. Those are exceptional cases where there is a deep Vairagya already induced in the mind that there is no more interest. And they have left a lower duty for the higher duty. It's not escapism. How many people have that type of Vairagya to walk out and 25 years or so search the truth sincerely, try out so many things in spite of so many failures, so many challenges, be on the path and then realize the truth. And how many people benefit from that? Those are exceptions. Shankaracharya ji, Vedavyasa, these people, they were dispassionate. Vedavyasa ji, as soon as he was born, he walked out. He said, I have a bigger mission to achieve. I need to go. Shankaracharya ji, at the age of 8, he took sannyas. But he promised his mother that whenever you need me, I will be there. And he came. So escapism is very different than these examples where people who are adhikaris, they have actually left for the higher. But for us, we have to continue to perform the duty. So dharmate virati. So 3 means we sought to cultivate Vairagya. 1 is firm discrimination through satsang. 2nd, pratipaksha bhavna through study and reflection of Bhajagovindam, Vairagya Shatakam. Number 3, performance of duty with dedication. Number 4 is if I am very attached to something and I am just not able to withdraw, I have to constantly see the dukkha that it gives. So dukkha buddhi and dosha buddhi. These are 2 things. The more and more I think about the dukkha that it brings, the pain that it brings, how much one suffers because of this. It may be an object, it may be a person, it may be any situation, that how painful it is to indulge in it or to face it or to go through it. The more I remember the painful aspect, the less will be the craving for it. Because the mind follows a simple law. What is painful, the mind avoids. Where it finds pleasure or happiness, there it goes. That is called sukha dukkha vivek. The more I do sukha dukkha vivek properly, that where is true happiness and what is sorrow, the more one thinks about the evil the pain of, let us say, smoking, drinking, then the person understands. The craving for it stops, reduces. Dosha buddhi and dukkha buddhi. These two are important. Again, this is from the Gita where Bhagwan says this, that one has to again and again see what is the limitation and what is the pain. The more I see the pain, the less I want to indulge in it. And sometimes there is no pain, but there is a limitation. Dosha is there, pain is not there. But it is limitation, that it won't be there with me for long. Like there are people who genuinely love us and we like to spend time with them, be with them. There is no pain involved in that. But there is a limitation that how long can they be with us. If we get attached to them, then the pain starts. Either we will go or they will go. So there is a limitation there. So dukkha and dosha. We have to make a list. What are the things on which I depend, where I think that without this I can't be happy. And then start seeing the pain of that attachment, pain of that very object or that indulgence. So the more I think dosha buddhi, dukkha buddhi, again and again and again I think about it. That's why Shankaracharya ji says even in the Bhaj Govinda, manasi vichintaya varam varam. Again and again think about it. You know, one example is given. Generally people give this example saying that this happened in the life of Tulsidas ji. But actually it happened in the life of a devotee called Bilva Mangal. So this Bilva Mangal was extremely attached to his wife. And he couldn't bear separation from his wife. One day, the wife decided that I want to go to my mother's house. She lives in some other village. So she goes. She goes for about 10 days. She leaves a note in the house that I am going to my mother's house for 10 days. I will come back within 10 days. This arrangement I have made for your food and everything else. She has made all arrangements and she goes. Now, this Bilva Mangal, one day, 2 days, he manages to stay. But one night, he is just not able to handle it. That night, it is raining terribly. The river is in flood. But this Bilva Mangal has started. He wants to go and see his wife. So in that rain, he goes out. The river is in flood. He finds that there is something floating. So he jumps into the river, catches that, and somehow with the help of it, he gets carried to the banks, to the other shore. When he reaches there, he comes out, he leaves what was there, what he was catching, and he starts walking towards his wife's house. When he goes there, now he can't go directly through the front door. It's late in the night. It will look so terrible that how desperate he is that he has come now. So now he decides, okay, now I have to do a backdoor entry. And the wife is staying on the first floor. So he goes down and he looks at how do I climb. So he finds that something is hanging. He holds that and he climbs up. And he jumps into the balcony and from there he goes into the room. And the wife is shocked to see that, how come you are here? So he explains that, I held on to something which was floating and I came and then I climbed something which was hanging. The wife is shocked when she goes out and she sees he has actually held on to a python and he has climbed. And while coming, he actually held on to a corpse, a dead body which was floating in the river. And he crossed and he was so blinded that he just did not realize this is a dead body, he did not realize this is a python, and he just climbed. So the wife told him, for this body, which is a bundle of dirt and filth, you have so much of, attachment. If you have even 1/10 of this attachment for the Lord, you will realize the Supreme. That shook him up. And when that shook him up, he decided, I'm going. Left. He became a great devotee of the Lord, single pointed in his focus, because he understood the limitation of the moha that he had. He understood the nature of this body, and it was a shock to him also. So what are those things without which we cannot live? Those dependencies. One has to make a list of those and start seeing the pain aspect of it, the limitation aspect of it. Dosha buddhi, dukkha buddhi. And if required, be away from it. So tapas is the fourth aspect. The more tapas I do, more austerity I live in, more simplicity I live in, Vairagya will come. So what is this tapas? If required, I have to be away. I have to deny that enjoyment to myself. Suppose I say that without coffee I cannot live. First thing in the morning I must have coffee. For 1 year when we take a vrat, that is a tapas, that I don't want to drink coffee for 1 year I take a oath. For 1 year, no coffee at all, out. Now what I have to do, not only deny myself that coffee, but in that 1 year, not keep imagining of coffee in a pleasurable way. Start seeing the limitation of it, as well as find a healthy substitute, so that the body still gets the nourishment that it needs. It is not deprived. At the same time, the addiction or the dependency on coffee goes, because I've denied myself externally, as well as I am thinking clearly that I don't need that for my happiness. In fact, it creates more addiction towards caffeine. Caffeine is not good for the body. Whatever the limitations are, one has to think about that. So when both these are done, the thinking as well as the withdrawal from that sense object or the person or a situation, then the freedom from that craving, that will happen. Once dispassion is there inside, then it is a matter of functional convenience or functional reason that somebody is there with the object or somebody has withdrawn from the object. Like the example of Janak Maharaj. And he had to be there to rule the kingdom. But inside there is complete dispassion. So this state is called Vairagya, where one has no dependency on anything. So 4 means we have seen so far. Discrimination with constant satsang, pratipaksha bhavna, study Bhaj Govindam, Vairagya Shatakam. Third, performance of duty with dedication. Fourth, dosha buddhi, dukkha buddhi and tapas. When these are combined together, the person will have enough Vairagya. So these are methods of cultivating Vairagya. Once a person understands this Vairagya well, the next 6 qualifications, Shatka Sampatti, they are a result, they are actually a manifestation of Vairagya in 6 ways. Because when there is Vairagya, there is complete fearlessness. There is complete freedom. The person is no more miserable. That's the beauty. That's another way to find out whether it is escapism or Vairagya. When the mind is filled with Vairagya, there is tremendous joy. It's not a state of pessimism, negativity, frustration. It's not that. Or disinterest. It is not that state. In Bhaj Govindam, Shankaracharya ji says, Kasya sukham na karoti viraga. What happiness is not available to a person who has Vairagya? Why? Because nothing can bind his this person. Nothing makes that person feel that without this I can't be happy. So the person is happy at all times. In a very simple acronym, in a popular language, we keep saying it is a wow philosophy, with or without. So with success, one says wow. Without success, one says wow. With coffee in the morning, wow. Without coffee, wow. If the spouse smiles, wow. If the spouse doesn't smile, wow. Nothing will make that person miserable. Of course, don't use this for a wrong reason. Don't say that if I study, wow. If I don't study, wow. If I do japa, wow. If I don't do japa, wow. No. Not for a wrong reason. One has to establish oneself in sadhana, so that one has to do. That's not a dependency, that is consistency. So when a person has no dependency, the mind is very free, and that mind is fearless. Because there is no attachment, there is no anxiety to protect anything, there is no fear of losing anything. As long as it is there, it is there. When it goes, it goes. This Bhartrihari, who wrote Vairagya Shatakam, he wrote a very nice shloka where he says that Bhoge Roga Bhayam. When one indulges in this sense enjoyments, there is a fear of sickness or disease. Kule Chuti Bhayam. If there is, that I belong to this great dynasty, this royal family, all that, there is a fear of doing something which will bring down the name of the family. Vittyendrapalad Bhayam. If there is lot of money, then there is fear of the income tax. Mane Dainya Bhayam. If there is pride of achievement, then there is always a fear of, the difficulties to maintain that success. The fear of somebody overtaking is there. Mane Dainya Bhayam. Bale Ripu Bhayam. If I have a lot of strength, then I am scared of some enemy. Someone may attack me. Bale Ripu Bhayam. Rupe Jaraya Bhayam. If there is beauty, then there is fear of old age. Like that he goes on to explain. Kaye Kritantat Bhayam. If there is attachment to the body, then there is fear of death. He concludes by saying, Sarvam Vastu Bhayanvitam. In this world, everything is fraught with fear. Except one. Vairagyam eva abhayam. Vairagya alone leads to fearlessness. So why should I have Vairagya? Because I want to experience that absolute state. The state of freedom, the state of fearlessness, the state of quietude, peace. Vairagya is the prerequisite for that. So a person who has developed Vairagya will have no dependencies, will be free. The mind is available. The mind is not disturbed. So the mind is at peace and available to contemplate on that which is real. Today when we sit to contemplate, the mind again and again goes to some object, some memory, some pleasure. Why does it go? Because it still finds Sukha is there. It does not find that that is a source of Dukkha and Sukha is here. And that's why it is said that the more I do properly Sukh Dukh Vivek, my Nitya Anitya Vastu Vivek also will become stronger. Sukh Dukh Vivek in the beginning we saw in the introduction of Vivekachoodamani, that's a part of Dharma Vivek. The more I do that, what is the real source of happiness and what is the source of pain? If I discriminate clearly, today I have mixed this up. What is the source of pain? I am thinking that is a source of happiness. And what is the source of happiness which is within me? Now to try and turn the mind within, that has become a source of pain. So to sit quietly, to do japa, to do, seva, to study, to live in self-control, all that has now become a source of pain. That has to change. So the more Sukh Dukh Vivek, more practical Vivek will be Sukh Dukh Vivek and try to reverse the conditioning. When the Sukh Dukh Vivek becomes strong, then Nitya Anitya Vastu Vivek also will happen. That will become strong. Vairagya also will happen. So this is the quality of Vairagya. And this Vairagya comes, many people think it comes by, in time, naturally it will come. It will not come by time naturally. Only by reflection it will come. Gurudev used to say, old age comes by passage of time, maturity comes by reflection. The more I think about the ephemeral nature of the world, the painful aspect of this world, the more Vairagya will come, not just by passage of time. In fact, the reverse can happen. By passage of time, the craving for sense objects will increase and the body becomes older and older. Same thing Bhartrihari says in his Vairagya Shatakam. Valibhir mukham akrantam. There are wrinkles on this whole face. Palitena ankitam shiraha. All the hair have fallen. Gatrani shithilayante. The body has become very old and infirm. One can't even stand. The hand is shaking. Sometimes the head keeps shaking. So the body has become infirm. Body has become old, hair have fallen, teeth have fallen, wrinkles have come on the face. But what has become younger? Trishnaika tarunayate. Desire alone becomes younger and younger, meaning there is more craving to enjoy. And in the world, new pleasures will keep coming. So the craving for pleasure will keep increasing. So if one thinks that by time Vairagya will come, by time some disinterest may come in certain types of enjoyment, but interest in something else will increase. Hence, Vairagya comes only by proper thinking, by reflection, by viveka. And this intensity of Vairagya also has to be understood. Our Vairagya can be Manda Vairagya, Madhyam Vairagya, or Tivra Vairagya. Tivra Vairagya is where there is complete dispassion from the body also, where one doesn't even bother. For days on end, many times one doesn't even have food or water, one is lost in samadhi. There's so much of dispassion that the mind doesn't even come back to the body level. Intense Vairagya. Madhyam Vairagya is little lesser. There is Vairagya, the craving is not there, but one is still taking care of the body. Manda Vairagya is now and then it arises. That's what is that Smashana Vairagya. So different types of Vairagya. Smashana Vairagya is where one has gone to the funeral when temporarily one feels that, what is life? It's so temporary. After all, everything is from rising from the dust, it is going back to dust. And by the time a person comes back, takes the bath, his Vairagya also has gone back to dust. That is Smashana, very temporary. It comes and goes. Or another type of Vairagya is called Alabhe Vairagya. Because I did not get it, then I say I have Vairagya, I don't want it anymore. Like the fox which says that the grapes are sour. And the grapes are sour, the fox was constantly attempting to get it. If they were sour, why were you trying to get it? But they are high and he just couldn't reach. So ultimately he has to cover up saying, the grapes are sour, what's the point? It's like somebody who is saying that, I have never taken a bribe in my life. So the person congratulates you, wonderful, how come you never took? He said, because nobody offered. Now that is not Vairagya. Nobody offered him the bribe, so he never took it. If somebody offered, he would have happily taken it. Same way that if the grapes were little low, the fox would have jumped and eaten it also. So that is called Alabhe Vairagya. When I did not get something, then I am craving for it. Then I am saying that I don't have a craving for it. So Smashana Vairagya, Alabhe Vairagya. These are different types of Vairagya. Or the absence of it. Abhava Vairagya. So as long as that object is not present in front, the mind has great Vairagya. If Rasgulla is not there, one says there is no happiness in Rasgulla. In fact, it is a source of pain. You know how much sugar it has? It is dripping in that sugar water. And you know, white sugar has so much of problem. It creates so much of fluctuations in the body. It is not good at all. And one can give a whole lecture on that Vairagya, on that Rasgulla has no happiness. But the moment that Rasgulla is brought in front, everything goes away. One starts enjoying that. Why? Because as long as it was not there in front, one could give a lot of, a show of Vairagya. But the moment it comes in front, all that Vairagya is gone. Why? Because it was not true Vairagya. It was just empty, hollow, not based on viveka. So different types of Vairagya. In Manda Vairagya, all this will happen. Some of these are not even Vairagya. Forget Manda Vairagya. They are just a disguise. In the name of Vairagya, one thing, it is not even Vairagya. So the Tivra Vairagya is what is referred to here. And that comes Manasi Vichintaya Varam Varam. The more I think again and again and again on Vairagya, this quality will come to us. About dosha buddhi, dukkha buddhi, all that when I think more and more, the Vairagya will arise. Now these six-fold qualifications are all expressions of this Vairagya. Like Vivek leads to Vairagya, Vairagya leads to Shatka Sampatti.